Good day. I'm Oscar Weigel from the Volgino School of Engineering at George Mason University, and I'll be talking about my big data project plan using natural language processing for Amazon reviews. The overview is we'll begin by defining the issue and describing the data set. We'll propose a solution and identify the stakeholders, establish those requirements, and consider our options to build or buy. I'll describe the metadata and governance practices necessary, define an end goal, estimate the time and effort, and enumerate the value and benefits to the organization. So to begin with the data set, Amazon.com reviews from 1996 to 2018, the volume comes out to be about 34 gigabytes. It's a variety of data, including both structured and unstructured data, such as raw text, photographs. The data comes in nominal, ordinal, internal, and ratio data types. The velocity can be very fast, with many books being released every day and reviews constantly being written. The veracity can be ensured through using verified purchases and also using NLP to detect bot-generated reviews. The value comes from the customer sentiment analysis and targeted marketing, leading to increased sales and higher customer retention. The issues identified with this data set are privacy, quality, and some subtleties of language, which we'll discuss later. So the proposal: a large book publisher of various genres and a wide variety of target demographics is searching for a method of utilizing aggregated review data collected by Amazon.com. By collecting all the reviews since 1996, provides an opportunity to analyze the data and utilize NLP to extract insights via sentiment analysis. The requirements: these issues are mitigated that we identified earlier by anonymizing the data. We ensure the data quality by using reviewed, verified human reviews, and we try to mitigate bias on extreme reviews by putting more weight to the subtler, more moderate opinions. So from the hardware perspective, we can either invest heavily in the IBM data center infrastructure or use infrastructure as a service with AWS. From the software end, you can build it using Apache Hadoop as the backbone, using JavaScript as the front end, and Tableau for visualizations. Identifying the stakeholders. Initially, we want to focus on the executive leadership and shareholders for the publishing company. Then we want to talk about the customers whose data is being utilized and who will ultimately benefit from the improvements generated by the project. The data team working to produce the project are also stakeholders, as well as the writers working for the publishers whose book will be potentially modified based on the project's outcomes. So, talking through the build versus buy ideas, we want to look at the pros and cons of each. The pros of building would be that you own and control all the intellectual property and infrastructure associated with the project. You can develop a new line of business for the publisher, provide employee growth opportunities. The cons, however, are that it's not the company's specialty, will require a great deal of time and money getting people up to speed. IT is known as a heavy cost center with an unknown potential gain for this project as of yet. And going forward, if you want to make more money from this project, you would license this technology, and it may undermine the project objective by giving away your insights to your competitors. So looking at buying it from a company would be, it's a quicker return on investment. You also get to utilize the experience of the personnel to build a better product. You get to maintain focus on our main profit center for publishing books. However, you don't get to own all of the intellectual property generated throughout the project, and you ultimately have less control over the end product because you're trusting that they can understand what you're asking them to build. Despite all these concerns, I feel like it's a much better idea to buy for the publishing house. So we'll proceed with that. So we'll have to maintain strict data governance around the metadata concerning the product reviews, and this will aid in managing such a large trove while also enabling quicker search and retrieval. Some examples of metadata we'll be looking for are the author of the reviews, the date it was created, if it was modified, and how big the review was itself, with any files such as photographs attached. Governance is important because it establishes clear roles with committees talking to the data stewards and establishing clear processes, protocols, practices around handling data and enabling more sharing and less isolation. Some of the statistical analyses we'll be providing. NLP is a branch of computer science concerned with giving computers the ability to understand text and spoken words. So those reviews written, and you can get a sentiment analysis to understand what people liked about certain books or genres and how extreme those views were. So by determining the share of positive or negative reviews, the extremities of the emotions associated with the reviews written, and how best to enhance or mitigate these reactions, the publisher can produce more individually tailored products towards certain audiences or recreate several successful publications based on their project's findings. Here's an example of a visualization using a dot plot with the x-axis being how pleasant or unpleasant someone felt about uh, whatever they were writing about, and then the y-axis concerning whether they were using active or subdued language. The size and color of these dots also pertain to how confident we are in this person's opinion of in the text. So that's a good place to start as far as visualizations go. But also a simple word cloud is very useful for giving a quick understanding to stakeholders as to what words tend to come up when thinking about certain books or genres or authors. And we can utilize all this data to feed back into the product creation phase and the marketing phase so that can emphasize those aspects or downplay them if it's something negative. So based on a Harvard Business School estimate, 3 to 10% of the overall organization, and estimating that Big Five publishing houses such as Penguin Random House have about 10,000 people employed by the organization. We're looking at having about 300 to 1,000 people on this project. The structure would be a small team focused data scientist where they design the algorithms and do the data discovery, a larger group of data engineering that builds and maintains the data pipelines, and the remainder of the group would be analysts performing analysis and presenting the, the stories to the customer. The project would take anywhere from 1 to several years to start generating substantial results, but with a refining process along the way, we'll meet every quarter to ensure that client expectations are met and that the project is proceeding along nicely. So some of the expected values and benefits are the augmented business insights and prediction of customer trends will obviously help the publisher. The increased market share in targeted genres can also help shift the publisher in certain directions. And just an overall raise in customer satisfaction and sales will result in much more income and profit for the company. Here's some terms we use throughout the discussion, and here are my references. Thank you very much for your time.